What if the quarter sitting in your pocket right now is quietly carrying the weight of a revolution? Look closer, feel the metal. That cold, familiar circle of silver-colored alloy is not just 25 cents. It is a 2000 Massachusetts state quarter, and the story it holds can stop a collector in their tracks. Most people spend these without a second thought, but collectors pause. They turn it slowly under the light. They search for something most eyes never notice, and once you understand why, you may never look at loose change the same way again. This is the coin that opened the new millennium for the United States Mint, the sixth release in the 50-state quarters program, issued on January 3, 2000. A deliberate choice. Massachusetts, the Bay State, stepping forward first among the new century's releases. Hold the reverse in your mind. A lone figure stands on a rocky outcrop, rifle in hand, coat catching an invisible wind. The Minuteman. Behind him, the outline of the state itself. Above, the year 1788, the year Massachusetts ratified the Constitution. To the right, the quiet words, the Bay State. Below, the year of the coin, 2000, and the Latin phrase that has ridden American money for generations, a pluribus unum. That statue is not decoration. It is memory-made metal, the Minuteman of Concord. Ordinary farmers and craftsmen who stood ready at a minute's notice when the call came in 1775. The coin freezes that instant of quiet courage and places it in the hands of people living more than 2 centuries later. Now flip it. George Washington's profile faces left, the same portrait that has appeared on quarters since 1932. Liberty. In God we trust. And near the base of the neck, a single letter that changes everything for collectors. The mint mark. On this coin, you see a P Philadelphia, the mother mint. In 2000, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 628 million Massachusetts quarters. Denver produced another 535 million. San Francisco struck the proofs for collectors. These numbers are enormous. This is not a rare coin in the ordinary sense, yet rarity is not only about how many were made. It is about how many survived in perfect condition. It is about the tiny details that separate ordinary from extraordinary. And that is where the quiet tension begins. Look again at the Minuteman's face, at the folds of his coat, at the crispness of the state outline, at the sharp edges of the lettering. Most coins that traveled through cash registers and vending machines lost those details years ago. The high points wear first, the rifle softens, the rocks blur, the letters lose their bite. Collectors call this condition. Graders measure it on a scale from 1 to 70. An average circulated 2000 Massachusetts quarter is worth exactly 25 cents. An uncirculated example in MS-63 or MS-65 might bring $1 or a few dollars, but when a coin reaches MS-67 or higher, when every letter is sharp, every surface nearly untouched, the numbers begin to climb. High-grade pieces have sold for tens or even low hundreds of dollars. The very finest known examples can reach into the low thousands at auction, not because the design is scarce, but because perfect survivors from a mintage of hundreds of millions are genuinely hard to find. The true scarcity lives in the highest grades. There are other quiet details: the quality of the strike, the presence or absence of contact marks, the luster that still rolls across the fields when the light hits just right. Collectors learn to see these things the way a musician hears the difference between a good performance and a transcendent one. The same design, the same metal, completely different emotional weight. And then there is the deeper layer, the reason this particular coin stirs something in people that other state quarters sometimes do not. Massachusetts was never just another state. It was the cradle, Boston, Lexington, Concord, the shot heard round the world. When the Mint placed the Minuteman on this quarter in the first year of a new century, it was quietly saying, remember where the idea of American independence first took physical form. Remember the ordinary men who decided the risk was worth taking. That emotional charge is what keeps collectors coming back to the 2000 Massachusetts quarter long after the program ended. It is not the rarest state quarter. It is not the most expensive, but it carries a different kind of gravity. It feels like a small portable monument. Collectors often describe the moment they first noticed one in change, the sudden recognition, the quiet decision to keep it instead of spending it. That decision is rarely about pure investment. It is about connection, about holding a piece of designed history that still circulates among us, about knowing that millions of these coins were made, yet the perfect ones remain scarce, and the story they carry remains powerful. Condition is everything. A coin that spent years in a pocket or a cash drawer tells one story. A coin that stayed protected, that never felt the scrape of other coins or the friction of a register drawer, tells another. Professional grading services lock that difference in place with a number and a holder. Once a coin is graded high, its value stabilizes in the collector market. Once it is graded low or remains raw and heavily worn, it stays at face value forever. That is the second hidden truth. The difference between a 25-cent coin and a several $100 coin can be almost invisible to the untrained eye. A few extra marks, a slight loss of luster, a softness in the high points. Collectors train themselves to see what others overlook. Now imagine standing in a quiet room with one of these coins under a strong light. Turn it slowly. Watch the Minuteman catch the beam. Notice how the state outline seems to rise from the field. Feel the weight of 1788 and 2000 existing on the same small disc of metal. That is the experience collectors chase, not just ownership, presence. The 50-state quarters program was one of the most successful coin programs in American history. It put history into everyday hands. Children collected them. Parents looked for the ones their home state produced. And the Massachusetts issue, arriving at the turn of the millennium, carried a special sense of beginning. Yet most of those coins are still out there, circulating, waiting to be noticed, waiting for someone to pause, to look twice, to wonder what else might be hiding in plain sight. So here is the question that keeps the story alive. What would you do if you found a 2000 Massachusetts quarter in nearly perfect condition tomorrow morning? Would you spend it? Would you set it aside? Would you begin to look at every other quarter a little more carefully from that day forward? The coin itself does not demand an answer. It simply waits, cold, silent, and full of quiet history for the next person willing to see it. If this story made you look differently at the change in your pocket, leave a comment and tell me the first state quarter you ever kept. And if you want more stories like this, coins that carry more than their face value, subscribe. The next forgotten piece of history is already out there, waiting to be found.